right. We are actually learning how to do all of this here. We are going to pin everybody up as far as who we're going to be talking to here. Hey, Becky, how are you? All right, we got
Hello.
one more person. We got another person here. And should everybody with the same names, that would help, being able to do this and everything. All right, we got one more person here. And then we have, last but certainly not least, there. And how are we ladies doing?
Doing
Oh,
great.
oh,
Great.
okay. Don't all speak at
Good.
once there. All right. How are we doing today?
Doing
No
well.
complaints.
That's good. I do want to say happy National Women's Day. That was yesterday there. You guys, or you ladies, I should say, have been very inspirational in this business here. That was more of a coincidence when I actually had asked you, my wife, actually, she's like, do you realize you have all women on this group there? And when you put everything together, National Women's Day was yesterday with everything. And I thought this was great to be able to have this in coincidence with everything here. And reason why I wanted to call you, you ladies here, is the fact that you've all been here less than a year, right? So to speak, in this business here. And you've had some success here, haven't you, a little bit? Don't be modest. Come on, it's okay. You've had success. You can all shake yes, everything like that.
Good
With
days
everything
and
like
bad
that.
days.
And what's that?
So there's good days and bad days.
You know what? That's with any business, don't you think? Any career, anything that you choose there. And what better way to be able to share that than be a part of this group here and be able to share the successes that you've had. Maybe some of the, the hard pieces that you've actually had here. Is Tiffany not pinned?
No.
Is she not? Okay, on my
There
side she
she
is.
There she
is.
is.
Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. And the one thing that is really insightful with this here is the fact that we all come from different backgrounds with everything, and and that's the part there that really I think what makes symmetry as a whole that much better. I've shared this with people that I've interviewed with, and I said, imagine if all of us came from insurance or financial backgrounds. Don't you think this company would be pretty boring? Because of the fact we wouldn't have all of those different types of careers or different angles of everything as far as what we bring here. And I think that's what makes us very unique here. So just, going around the room here, tell us a little bit about what you did prior to Symmetry, and then what actually even brought you to Symmetry to begin with. Why did you feel like you needed to make a change in your life? And Symmetry became, you're basically your home. Becky, you're first up on my screen.
Oh,
Why don't you
okay.
start us off there?
I'll go first. Hey, everybody. So I was thinking about this earlier because, I guess the insurance kind of set the seed for me because my neighbor sells Medicare and she had time freedom, financial freedom. I mean, she'd be like, I'm going to buy this other unit. And it was like, wow, okay, how much money is in your bank account? Because, she's always traveling, having like the best life. So it planted the seed for me, but at that time I was working as an advertising executive for chiropractic and acupuncture market, and I just wasn't brave enough to take that leap. But then I got laid off, so that's when I started shopping, and I met you, Bob. Like, I think that was about 2.5 years ago now. But I chickened out, right? 1099 can be really scary. You have to be really brave for that. So I chickened out and I took a job, working at this other advertising agency. And I lasted like, I don't know, I think like a year and a half. I said, I'm going to give myself a corporate training because I've never gone through that before. And then I'm going to take those skills that I learned and do something else. So, yeah, we got new management, and I woke up one day and said, I am done. And I resigned same day. So unprofessional, but whatever. They didn't care about us. So who cares? So here I am. I reached out to Bob and said, hey, remember me? I'm ready to come back. So here I
Goodness,
am.
coincidences. I have actually a call with somebody else that I had reached out to a year and a half ago in a couple hours. Same exact story. I may have to have you on that call with me
Oh,
just to
that's
say, hey,
funny.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you worked for Value Pack prior, right?
Yeah,
Which
that was
is,
yeah, after I got laid off, that's where I went was Valpak. So,
yeah,
and I
Valpak,
loved
that's what
it.
it
I
was.
did.
Yes.
I loved it. And then we got new management and it just, that really changed the whole vibe of our company and they were awful. So I just couldn't do it anymore.
Well, we're glad to have you here, Becky. We'll look forward to hearing more from you here shortly. But Miss Britt, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I it was serendipity somehow that I ended up with a message from Giovanna. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. I have had my insurance license for a year and a half and was doing it part-time with a very tiny brokerage, which I enjoyed. I didn't know what I didn't know until I started the conversation with Giovanna. It was always my plan to be sort of part-time doing that to I'm a late in life saving for retirement kind of person. So the business was supposed to be to sort of beef that up and all the money go there. And I was going to continue working. I've been a mental health counselor for more than 20 years. I love it. I love what I do and working with the kids. I hated where I was at. So yeah, I I was doing a little dabbling in December with the Meet Your Team and Symmetry, and that dabbling became just a huge mirror to how unhappy I was at school and work. And so I just put in my leave after Christmas break and jumped in here full time. So
How about that? You
yeah.
fired your boss. That is
I did.
awesome.
I did. It was actually something I should have probably done 3 years ago. But like Becky, I've been a W-2 my whole life, and being a 1099, like only 1099 is really scary. So like I knew what was possible and I believe in myself in terms of being able to do it, but giving up that steady paycheck. Yeah, I was stuck somewhere for too long. So
That is awesome. Well, glad to have you here. Sometimes the timing isn't always what you initially envision. Like you said, you have to kind of find where
yeah.
what works best for you. But that Giovanna, but she's kind of persistent, isn't she? She just doesn't back down. But no, glad to have you here. That's great. Look forward to hearing from you more here. All right, Miss Brooke, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Bob?
Flashing the money. I never realized that money was real.
It
And
was
when you
real.
when you and Venus were doing that, now I learned something. Now I'm kind of wondering, it's like, you just like don't have any bills, you can just cash your checks or whatever, or take the money out of your account and just throw it around your house.
No,
That's
I have a boyfriend
awesome.
that's like always needs to have cash. Like, I don't know why.
All
So
right.
it's
Well,
not my
that may be
money.
another conversation for another time, but
Yeah, he's very old school. He's very old school.
there you go. All right. So what brought you here? Tell us a little bit about you.
So, well, kind of like you ladies, I was a little nervous to be 100% commission and coming from W-2, like, that, you know, every a paycheck every 2 weeks doesn't really, you know, it doesn't prep you well for being 100% commission. So before this, I was in business development, mostly in food and beverage and electric cars, metal recycling, selling like engineering systems and physical equipment. So very different from insurance. I never really considered insurance until I found your job posting, Bob. I think I had actually like rescheduled the interview like 3 times on Sarah because I just wasn't sure about it, I was nervous. Um, but the reason why I wanted to move forward was because I wanted an uncapped income and I wanted to travel a lot. So this career allowed me to do that.
Okay. We're glad to have you here, Brooke. You've been an inspiration, and just, everything that you've been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time, is just great. I mean, just cannot speak enough about you. Sarah cannot, say enough about you. So just glad to have you a part of the group here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right, Miss Sabina. Scott was a little modest, by the way, with what he had said there. If correct me if I'm wrong, weren't you telling me last week you submitted a $14,000 APV application?
Yeah, I was like, I think $50 short of 4,000, but right there. It's an underwriting, so nobody has to borrow $5 because
Yeah.
I don't have it either. But I actually worked at State Farm for about a year before I came here. Before I'd worked at a church, so I was really looking to get into sales, and full comp at the time was really scary. But I was bored at work kind of constantly, so I was on LinkedIn, and me and Annie Morel are friends. So I was seeing her LinkedIn post, and I was like, okay, wait, this is like I already have my license, so like what are you doing? Because I'm not making 5K in a week and I don't have to pay for leads. So reached out to her, watched every video possible, met with her, then met with Scott, and I was like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. Like I'm looking for a place to run and run as fast as I can. And I found it. So I was like, I was really excited because I looked around at other IMOs and never felt that peace. And then when I looked here, I was like, this is it. Like I know I'm supposed to be here.
That's
So yeah,
great
I
there.
got here.
I never knew that prior to State Farm. That you said you work for a church.
Yeah, me and Annie worked for the same church. So that's how we knew each
Wow.
other.
Yeah, it's interesting is the State Farm side, that was actually the first place I applied to before Symmetry, but somehow I didn't pass a personality test. I don't get it, but we'll figure that out one day. But who cares, right? We're here. That's what matters. All right, Tiffany, you ready to take us home? It looks like you got somebody there next to you. You want to bring them on camera,
I
share?
do. Zaina, do you want to say hi? Come here. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she just talked me into giving her like 10 Hershey kisses so she'd be quiet while I do this call. So
Oh, that's the way to do it. Okay. Smart child there. That
yeah.
is great.
Yeah, go get one. So before coming to Symmetry, I actually was working with a captive company and we used to go out into the field. So I've been doing this about 13 years. And with the other company I was with, we would go door to door, go visit clients in their home. We worked with veterans and union members. And when COVID happened, everything transitioned over to virtual and their transition wasn't really that like good, if I could say, the least. So what I ended up doing is just taking some time off. I had a baby and I've known Giovanna for a long time. So she's been in my ear, gosh, for like 5 years, like pre-COVID even, you should come over to Symmetry because, the other company I was with, it was just so hard to build a team because I got to a point where it wasn't the culture that I wanted to build a team with. So that's why I was talking with Giovanna. I decided to come over here so we could really start, building and just building something for the future.
That was awesome. That is great there. I'll have to reach out to you if I need any Hershey kisses or anything. That's awesome. I think the one thing I've learned about with Giovanna on this call here is the fact that A, she doesn't give up, and B, her follow-up skills are impeccable because if they weren't, we would only have three of you on the screen here. So that is great. So glad to have you a part of the team here with everything. So, all right. So, one of the things that sometimes when you're in this journey, sometimes you hit different ruts. Sometimes you run into different obstacles in this business. And sometimes there's just that one person or that one piece of advice that you hear that just kind of brings you out of whatever rut that you may be in there. So what would you say would be one piece of advice that you have received through your journey here so far that's kind of helped keep you focused on what you want to accomplish here? So we're going to change it up here just so Becky doesn't have to go first every time. Brooke, how about you?
Um, I'd say that mindset is everything. Definitely filter out if you can identify any negativity or anything that's kind of bringing you down, get rid of it right away. Don't take anything personal. I'd say that as well. That was something that because I had never been rejected this many times in my life before starting this business. So that was like something that I had to overcome. So that was a big one for me. But yeah, I'd say those. And then tracking your business. I didn't do that in the beginning.
That's good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the rejection part is definitely probably the hardest, I think, to come over. And basically kind of figure out, okay, how do I deal with this? Because, not everybody wants to deal with rejection. So completely get that. How about you, Britt?
It's funny that Brooke said that because that my very first thing was don't take it personal. And I still need reminders of that. Um, because it's hard. I don't necessarily think of it as rejection, as much as just not doing as well as I want to do or not doing what others are doing. So yeah, when I have a week without an app or something, then It is very hard not to take it personal. The other thing, it's on a post-it on my wall, was from Jim Larson, and I don't know if it's in his new agent activation or one of his things, but he said something about when he came back the second time, he saw people, and he says it in his Jim Larson way, who were lazier than he was and not as smart as he was, and they were doing it. And so my post-it says, if they can, I can. And it just sits next to my desk.
It's one of the things in our accountability group that we talk about, and I'm going to call Sarah Neal on this one. The fact that she'll use, if anybody hasn't already used it, the Jim Larson chat GPT aspect. And sometimes we would have the conversations of, okay, what would Jim say? And you would plug in the information and you would almost feel like Jim's talking back to you in the Jim Larson voice. So yeah, definitely get where you're coming from with that. Yeah, it's great there. All right. Sabina, how about you?
I mean, I honestly really try to remind myself that the numbers always owe us, but I also remind myself of the double edge of that is that they owe those who are working. If you're not working, the numbers don't owe you because you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like they owe you both ways. Um, and I think that helps you keep you level-headed. Like, and then I really saw that in the powerhouse. Like I worked really, really hard and I didn't see that numbers those weeks, but I saw it those next 2 weeks because the numbers had to come back around to me. But I kept digging, kept working those continual weeks. If I would have given up after the powerhouse and not followed up with those people I'd met with, not follow up with those leads, I wouldn't have closed some of those deals. But like, I think sometimes we forget that they have to owe us, but we have to also stay in the game. If we go home and quit, we're not going to see the result of those actions.
That's so true. That's true. So do you think the powerhouse has changed your business?
I definitely think it has. I think honestly, it really made me borrow more belief. Um, I like to dial. I've done dial days without a powerhouse where I've done like 200 dials just because I get into a fun rhythm and it's like a game for me sometimes. But doing the powerhouse really stretched the belief in myself that I can do this, that I am good at this. And just because the numbers aren't showing this week, I've never sat 10 people and only closed one. So I was like, I had to really check my belief, but also have people around me to say like, hey, no, like, let me encourage you. Like I reached out to some of my friends saying like, hey, I'm feeling a little down. Like, can you just lift me up? And getting that belief spoken over you that you are good at this, that you have found success. And then to see it those next weeks, it just like solidified what I knew about this business for myself.
It's true.
So it was awesome.
Very sound advice. How about you, Tiffiney?
I would say the most important thing for me has been sticking to my schedule and being intentional about what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm supposed to be doing it. So a lot of the times, with a 2-year-old, I only have Tuesday and Wednesday where she's in school. So those 2 days, I have to be super intentional with my time. And, I was feeling guilty there for a while because it's like, okay, when I'm, home and she's here, I'm trying to get stuff like, trying to get ahead a little bit, maybe throw in a dial session. And then everybody just gets frustrated because I'm doing stuff I should be doing at the wrong times, if that makes sense. So just, going and I like doing my schedule on Fridays. Somebody in one of the meetings mentioned doing their schedule for the next week every Friday because our schedule starts Saturday. So sitting down, Friday night after I finish working and just, looking at my schedule for the next week and planning it out and then planning in time, like to go to the park with Zaina on her days and planning my showers and planning my lunches. I always usually eat while I'm on like these calls because it, kills two birds with one stone. And so I would say that's really the thing that's helped me the most. So that way I'm not feeling guilty when I'm spending time with my family. I'm not feeling guilty that, that I'm working or when I'm working, I can just do what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm supposed to be doing it.
That's definitely sound advice there. I mean, the fact that you're very intentional with your time. I mean, as you had mentioned, your Tuesday, Wednesday, and most people would use it as an excuse. You use it as a motivation for yourself. Like, I've got to get this done in this time. So more power to you there. I may have to send you some Hershey Kisses to keep bribing your daughter there. That is great there. All right, Miss Becky. How about you, Becky?
It's so hard to say only one piece of advice because I feel like we've learned so many amazing things from everyone that talks to us, even from the accountability call every morning, like tiny little nuggets. Like it's going to be okay to say no to everybody. I've been getting a lot of pushback from my people of, oh, you never come out anymore. We don't see you. Okay, well, I'll see you when I'm, you know,
Rich.
exactly whenever I can say, let's go on vacation, my treat, right? So leave me alone. But I think for me, truly is, mastering the schedule. Everybody has said that from day one. And that's like a foreign idea to me, right? I just wake up, I work, I just keep working until I'm like, all right, I'm done. But that's really not productive, because you'll burn out, you'll get tired, or, so it's definitely, the advice that I hear almost daily from our accountability call is, yeah, master your schedule because it is imperative. And now I have a Google Calendar and I actually look at it and kind of follow it, so it's working.
How long did it take you to master or, to actually follow a schedule?
Oh, this is brand new. Like what? Like end of February.
But you know what? It's never too late. And that's where,
Exactly.
forming those new habits there is something that's there. I mean, the fact that there's people that have been here 4 days and there's people that have been here 4 years. It's never too late to actually start a new routine. And, because if what you're doing isn't working, then change it. That's
Exactly.
really what it's all about there.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to tie in a little bit here. I'm going to put this question here, and then I'm going to wrap up with the fun question that we have here. So when you look at everything here, I mentioned the accountability group earlier. We've also mentioned the Mac room. We now talk about the powerhouse now. That's going to be more of a regular routine itself there. What would you say, speaking right now, like the powerhouse has done for you, if you were part of the last powerhouse there, the accountability group, or just even the Mac room, what has that done for your business as a whole? Like if we didn't have those here, do you think you'd be where you're at in your business right now? So I'm gonna
No.
start with you, Tiffany.
Oh, sorry.
Absolutely not. I actually joined the accountability group before I was even allowed to write an application.
Same.
So I would sit on there and watch everybody and listen to Jim Larson. Yeah, the accountability group is fire. I wouldn't miss it. If we didn't have that, I think it would be, I wouldn't be as far ahead as I am for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Glad to hear that. You started before you could write something. It got you into the right mindset, didn't it? That's awesome.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right. How about you, Britt?
Same. I actually was in the accountability group in December, and I would sign on at school before, I was really writing anything. Did that about 3 times a week, which somebody asked me about it recently, but that was actually a busy time. On my school day, I was supposed to be doing bus duty and greeting kids, and I'd sort of sneak away to the accountability group.
Get on your
And
own bus.
I know. Well, there's other people doing it. I didn't figure they'd miss me. And the other thing was I would sit in the Mac room when I didn't have students coming into my office. So I was in the Mac room during work. I was on the accountability calls. I did the team calls and the agency calls. My original plan was leaving school in June, like finish the school year and then, kind of transition out. But I think, it was the accountability group and being in the Mac room and seeing all of that that really gave me the strength to walk away from something that I knew I should have long ago. The courage to do so, and also just the belief, like leaning into everybody else's belief and confidence. So that's really the reason I walked back in after winter break and said, I'm done. And I think if I hadn't been doing that in December, I would still sort of just be kind of listening here and there and staying at school until June. So I know 100% that where I am at, it hasn't even been 2 months yet because that was January 13th. But my business would not be where it's at without all of those for sure.
That is great there. Tiffany just said it there. Association is the key. If
Mhm.
you're not associating, it's not too late. Find a running buddy, find somebody that can hold you accountable, whatever it is there. It makes all the difference in the world. How about you, Becky?
Um, I should be in there more, right? Like I said, you guys have figured it out. I just kind of like dance to my own tune throughout the day. But, I will say when I first started, I was writing this app and it was like this really big one. And I knew, it could be a big one for me. And there was a snafu. And so I plugged into the Mac room and I'm like, help, 911 emergency. And Wilbur came to my rescue and, walked me through it. So I was grateful that, there is so much support available if you use it, right? We are all here for each other. We all have the same goal. We want to be successful. We want to help families. What we do is important. So I would say, it's definitely beneficial if you, use it.
Yeah, for sure. And you haven't been back? Is that what
I
you're telling me?
know. I'm gonna be better about it. I get kind of
Calling,
shy.
we're calling you all out here, so that means we're gonna be expecting you in the Mac room soon, right?
Yes, yes, it's on my
Yeah,
next growth
we know
list.
you've got some important stuff going on in your personal life right now too. I won't mention on this call, but we know that once that's all taken care of, you're gonna be back in the Mac room, right?
Yes.
All right, let's hear it there. We're gonna hold you accountable. It's recorded, by the way. Just letting you know. All right, Sabina, how about you?
I mean, I like the association everyone's saying, but I feel like for me, it makes it not an alone sport, it's a team sport. Like you have people with you, you can encourage people, but also get encouraged. And I think, why they always say like, hey, when you're new, get somebody onto your team. So if you haven't gotten someone on your team, someone may be looking up to you that you don't know, and they may encourage you and say, hey, I really love how you do that. And it could be something that fuels your business, but you also get to do that for people. Say, hey, like your show rate's amazing. Can you explain that to me? Can you walk me through how you're doing that? So association's worth it. But I even think the people that you don't know are looking up to you, that can also drive you even further. At least for me, like I played sports my whole life. So and I played soccer, so I was always on a team. I didn't really like individual sports. And I love the team aspect. I love going to accountability and checking in and seeing like, oh, look at what my friends did. What did they do? Or like seeing how things are at. Or it also helps me know like, oh, hey, like they didn't fill it out for a few days. Maybe I should check in on them. Like we're a team. Like, hey, are you doing okay? Can I help you any way? Because I know if I did the same thing, someone would probably text me and say, hey, what's up? Where are your numbers? Like, are you good? Or you alive? And so I love
Yeah.
that. It just makes it a team.
And you know what? Doing this career, it's a lot more fun when you have somebody else you're doing it with, right? All
Absolutely.
right.
Exactly.
All right, Miss Brooke, take us home with this question.
Yeah, I mean, I think these girls hit it right on the head. I think there's something that's very magical about being around other people that are succeeding and around people that have the same goals as you. But there's also something special about, seeing people get smacked in the face while you're live dialing. You're like, okay, that happens to them too. Okay, I'm not alone here. So, there's a spectrum, and you kind of get to experience what other people are experiencing and also be lifted up by other people when you're going through the hard times as well. So I love the
100%.
Mac room. I've been in the accountability ever since I started here. So definitely, if you're not in it, sign up.
And just out of curiosity, Brooke, what time zone are you in?
Uh, right now I'm in Pacific, but
Yeah. And
on
you're still
Saturday I
there.
was on Mountain. Now we just switched. So
All
6
right, just
a.m.
making
for
sure
me
we have
now.
that there. Yeah,
6
so it's good
a.m.
there. And we've you've been there like a few times where it feels like you just got out of bed. We joke around with you about it, and you're like, "Yeah, I just did get out of bed."
I literally just got out of bed. Yep.
Oh, that's great there. Love that. All right, so this is where I like to have fun with you guys. This is where and Becky and Brooke are like, okay, where are you going with this? Because they know on our team calls here.
Yeah, I'm
So
not
one of
ready
the
for
things
this.
that you like to do here is we like to have fun but get stuff done. I'm sure you guys have heard that expression before. So what is one thing about yourself that people don't know about you that you're about to share on this recorded call? I'll let you go first, Becky, because I know yours already. You've shared this.
So my nickname is actually Betty.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
the story.
and it goes so deep that there are a lot of folks that have no idea that my name is actually Becky.
Okay. So we're going to call you
Yeah.
Betty.
Yeah, I will answer if you call me Betty.
All
It's
right. We'll remember
instinctual.
that. I remember, weren't you like a tow truck? Didn't you work for
Oh,
like a
you
tow
like that
truck
story
company? Yeah,
better?
that was pretty good. I remember that. So
Okay, I'll tell. So when I was like 19, when I originally told, I thought I was older, but no, I was like 19, and I got hired at this tow truck driving company, and I was the gal who dispatched all of the truck drivers and essentially ran the office. And it was so fun to just be this like 100-pound tiny little human bossing around all of these men. It was wonderful. It really was. And I would, we would go get cheeseburgers from McDonald's on Wednesday and, 39 cent, I mean, 50 cheeseburgers. It was hysterical. I had the best time. I really did. It was one of the most fun jobs I've ever had,
there we go.
truly.
I love it
And we
there.
also had a U-Haul. So I would drive like the 24-foot truck around and go get us lunch and, because you have to like check the mileage and make sure they run right. So I would be
Love
like
it.
driving around town in this big old U-Haul. It was a very fun time.
How about you, Sabina?
Oh, this is so hard. I don't know. I feel like I'm low key sometimes an open book, which is, I guess, not great. But this is always my funny get to know you story. But when I was 13, I actually got arrested in the airport on a mission trip for bringing mangoes over. Like, I didn't know they were in my bag. And for probably
Wow.
10 years, I had like something on my record. So anytime I traveled international, I would get kind of pulled from like 13 years old. And that was, when I'm 27. So when I was 13, I had like maybe a flip phone, no cards, nothing like the kids have now where you could probably get out of it. Like I had nothing. Like I was going to be stranded. But I got flagged for TSA for like 10 years. So that's kind of funny.
Wow. Well, note to self, we probably won't travel with you. We'll make sure it's separate and everything. All right. How about you, Tiffany?
Oh gosh. I mean, I'm pretty much the same, like Sabina, like an open book. I can't even really think of anything. Like everybody like knows everything. Um, I mean, I got remarried. I have a baby at home, a 2 year old. I'm 43 years old. So that was late in life. It was geriatric pregnancy. My oldest daughter just had a baby, so I'm a grandmother. I'm not sure if everybody knows that. He's only a couple weeks old, so that's fun. New stuff happening. My husband calls me a gilf. So yeah,
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer a G-rated call. All right. So we're
yeah,
good.
I'm hearing it. 43-year-old grandmother over here.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's awesome. All right, Miss Brooke.
So I kind of was born with a fun fact, so it's kind of cheating, but I'm a twin. Not many people that I've met after, I guess, college, unless you've specifically met my sister, know about that. But yeah,
Look at all the comments. No, 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 identical. No
no, for
way.
sure
All
no.
right. Oh, that is awesome. Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing. All right, Britt, you gonna take us home?
Sure. A fun fact about me, Halloween is my favorite holiday, and so I have turned my what would be that formal living room that no one ever uses in their house, is kind of like a haunted mansion looking room, and it stays that way all year. It's got skulls and skeletons and old antique furniture, and it's very black and gray and moody, and it's so cool. I love it.
Oh, we know what state are you in, by the way?
Virginia.
Okay, so we're gonna go to your house
I know.
for
I want to
Halloween in
see
Virginia, right? Yeah, it's
it.
we're gonna have to
It's
have some type of a walkthrough, virtual walkthrough when this happens.
It's very fun when people come like to do work in the house and like they come in the front door because you can see it and they'll be like, "Oh, you're a little late. You haven't undecorated." I'm like, "No, no, it's like that year round." So
At
Oh,
least
that
you're
is
not with
great.
the Christmas tree all year round. So
Oh, this has been great. That's why I love asking that question because it gets some good laughs going here, gets everybody in a good mood, good vibes here. It's money or it's Monday. You know what that means? It's Money Monday. So let's go out there, make some money. Let's go out there, take care of some families, and most of all, let's go out there and have a great day. Enjoyed everybody on this call here today, and look forward to seeing you guys in the Mac room, right, Becky? All
Yes,
right, all
thanks
right,
for
absolutely.
having us.
all right. Take care, everybody.
thanks, Bob. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
thanks.